Hey everybody, here we are back with the landscapes discussion, our little journey through the planet. We're kind of staying local still. We just did Lighthouse Field in Santa Cruz, got Moss Landing right here in Moss Landing, and we're going next to Año Nuevo, north of Santa Cruz, San Mateo County. Great rock formations north of Santa Cruz. Great area for photography. So we're going to take this dud of a picture right here and figure out how it can come into our portfolio of landscapes of our travels. And I'll show you my thinking process, how I edit it from this to that, and some of the different decisions you have to make while doing landscape photography of this sort. Okay, so first thing is, why did I take the picture, right? When you're out in the field and you're out traveling, you're out living life, doing landscape photography, there's the big spaces and then there's the details. I would consider this one more of a landscape detail. I like the form of the rock. It reminds me of a place in France, actually, that was painted by Impressionist painters quite a bit. Etretat, I think it's called. And that little sort of tunnel, little arch right there was kind of cool. And then the pelican sitting up top. I just kind of like the design of that shape, right? So to me, this picture's got a lot of haze in it. It's all in the rock is all in the shadow, and it's losing the sense of color and texture that I saw in real life, but also it's dominating the frame. So let's maximize that. Here's what I did. First, like I'm asking you guys to do, make a duplicate so that you don't have to edit the original photo. You can always go back, okay? And then from there, what I want to do is play around with the color and texture and exposure of just the rock. So I'm going to use the selection tool first, and with a pretty big brush, let it analyze first. I'm going to try to just select the rock. All right, and look at that. It did a pretty good job. The dotted marching ant line is going around the edge of the rock, and it's going into the water a little bit, but I'm going to let that be. I did that on accident in a practice run here, and I liked it. So I'm going to fix this little corner here. There we go. And it went too far. Now I've got all this over here, so I'm going to push it back, pushing the Option key to lessen the selection. So there it is. The dots are going around the rocks and a little bit into the water, but not up to the horizon. All right, I want the sky and the water out here to not be selected. Right? And then from there, I'm going to choose first an exposure layer. All right, and see how it's blocking. The area I selected is the only place the exposure is going to change. I'm going to bring it up a touch. I'm going to offset it a little bit, bring it down, get some more contrast. All right, that if I bring it up too much, you can start getting a lot of weird pixels. I think this is red haze up top, a lot of noise. I'll bring it down a little bit and try some other layers to bring out color. So there I see more detail, but I don't want to do too much. I think I'm going to put it down to about just under 2 stops, 1.8. Okay, right about there. All right, just play with it. You can do whatever you want. All right. On this edit, by the way, you guys, I highly encourage you to try other different types of adjustment layers and see what kind of play happens when you do that, okay? So there's that. That's the exposure on there. I'm going to add another one. Go back to the background copy, all right, so that it's using the selection that is on that layer. And I'm going to add another adjustment. I'm going to try a curves adjustment. And darken shadows, lighten lights. All right, so here goes. Grab the corner. Hey, look, I want to go the other way. I always do that. All right, darken the darks a little bit there. Pow. With the lights. Bring them over a touch. Let's play with some curving in the middle. All right, so bring some shadows down, darker, some lighter tones, darker again. Let's try. Yeah, darker. I'm gonna bring that down towards mid-tones will be a little darker, and then highlights lighter. All right, so I'm definitely getting more texture there. I'm liking that. All right, I'm losing some detail down here in the shadows. So I can try to bring that up a little bit. There we go. Right about there. All right, so I got this weird snake curve. I wouldn't even call it an S curve, right? But there's that. And then I started playing with the color. All right, I want to play with the color on there a little bit, see what I can get. So I tried this one, the color balance layer. We've never done this one before together, but I click that one and check it out. I can change the hue, like the different red, green, and blue pixels in the highlight areas, in the midtones, and in the shadows. So in the highlights, I can make it like more of a reddish color, or the opposite of red is green. All right, so those are it's mainly changing just the lighter areas. I want to get more red there. On the green areas, the green pixels can be more green or more towards red. I can remember green and red are opposite. So, let me double click to put it back to middle. I'm just going to leave that one alone. Let's see what happens with the blue. Ooh, more light is coming through. So more yellow to more bluish to purple. All right. I'm liking the yellow. All right. So interesting, right? How come when you reduce the blue, it turns yellow? It's because they're opposite colors. And there we go. How about there? That's bringing a lot of texture and detail into it. I'm digging that. All right. And now that I've done that, I've kind of lost some of the shadows in this. I could go back and change any of these exposure, maybe bring out the properties, bring it down a little bit. Oh, I'm on the mask. All right. Try the offset it. Well, I like it up higher, but offset it. That's it. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go with that. I go back to the mask and keep it where it was. Okay, so there we go. I got a combination of ingredients. Ooh, it's kind of killing it up there. I got to fix that. Not like that. Back to the layer. Too much exposure. Bring it back. All right, I'll bring it right there. Okay. All right, so there's that. Now I'm going to go back to the background copy and see my selection is still there. I got my dotted lines. If you lost it, you just got to reselect it. But now what I want to do is work on the background and the water. And so with that selection, I want to do the opposite of that. Go to selection and go inverse. Okay. And now I'm going to put a layer onto that. Go back to the adjustment layers and let's try, I'm going to do a photo filter first. Right. So I got a filter on there. It's orange, which kind of unifies with the rock, but I'm going to go a little more opposite to orange, which will be more in the blue range. And I'm kind of going to go for a gray or blue, kind of like that right there. And go, okay. All right, so now I've added that to just the white area in the mask right here. And I'm going to put this one up above everything else. Oops, try that again. There it goes. Okay. Too many clicks. All right. Now I'm going to play. I put that back. See, it changed the look of it when he changed the order. There we go. Okay, so back onto photo filter, layer, and I want it to be more heavy-handed, a little more blue. All right. Now, not a ton is changing because I want to do one more change to that, and that's an exposure adjustment on top of that. So, go new adjustment layer. See, I'm on the I got the previous layer selected, so it's going to go right above that and go to exposure. All right, and I want to clip this one to just the layer below. Okay, and this way when I change the background, right, it's only in that area. And by separating the subject and the background this harshly, I'm doing it kind of harsh, right? It looks more surreal and strange, and I like that. That's okay. All right. And then I can fuss with, I'm going to deselect the selection. So now I got this weird sort of glowing pelicans up top, and I can decide if I want to show them more or less in a different way. I can go to this exposure mask and play with my brush tool again.